Welcome back to computer science. Okay, we're about to jump into some programming projects, but before I do, I need to recall what I learned yesterday. So yesterday we learned about, we start and finish two units. First, while versus for loops. So for counter control loops, you're gonna most often want to try to use a for loop, and that's because it will never accidentally create an infinite loop. And it's just simpler, easier to read, and once you get the form down, it's just cleaner. And what was the third unit about? That was while versus for. What was the second unit about then? While versus for. What was the third? If it range function while versus for, and range while versus for. Dang it! What unit? What was the other unit? Nested loops. So a nested loop is a loop that's in the loop body of another loop, and you've got an inner and outer loop. Okay, and then just was reminded that the ORD function will take a string and turn it into its ASCII integer value, and CHR will take an integer and output an ASCII character. That's represented by that integer value. All right, so that's lecture 15 in the books. Now I'm gonna jump into the textbook and do some projects. So I'll be back to recall what I did in a little bit. All right, guys, I have started and completed 3 little programs there. Yeah. The first one basically took an input of 4 integers, put them in a list, and then if the sum of the list was greater than 20, it outputted the minimum of the list. If it was less than or equal to 20, the sum that is of the list, it would output the maximum of the list. And so we use the min function on the list, we use the max function on a list, we use the sum function on a list. So those were really the new concepts that were being tested. Then we used a program to create, it was a lot about sets. So there was a lot of pre-creating stuff, but we created a set. Again, curly braces to create a set. It's an unordered container with unique elements. That's what a set is. So if you want to add a new element to a list, or to a set, you don't use append. That's for lists. You use add. So list name dot add, and then within parentheses the element you want to add. That's how you do that. Okay. What about remove? If you want to remove an object from or an element from a set, I believe we did dot remove. So set name dot remove, and then the element within the argument, I believe. So these are just the edge cases, or not even edge cases. This is just using sets compared to using and modifying and editing lists. There are differences, like add versus append. There's no index values for a set. It's unordered. So then we did a very similar project or program, but instead of sets, it was lists. So dot append will add something to the end of the list. Dot remove, and then within the argument you actually put the value you want to remove, the element you want to remove. Dot pop, and then index number will remove that index. And then if you want to modify one, you can say list and then index in brackets, and then you can say equals, and you can set that element as a different element. So that's how you modify or change an element. So Yeah, that's it for now. I'll be back later to do more computer science, so I'll talk to you then. See ya. I got distracted with some major change and like research and stuff, so I don't have time to do a full session right now. What I'm gonna do for computer science here is one more program and then I'll call it a day. So I'll be back to recall what I did in a second. I literally just did actually only 5 minutes because I realized that program was going to take longer than I wanted. So, yeah, it's another one working with sets, it looks like. So far, we've just basically created an input and then modified the variable based on the input, and that's basically it so far. So, it looks like we're going to use set methods next time I do this. So I'll do that tomorrow. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.